everybody's got something going on. There's a book, No Such Thing as Normal. And I'm like, thank you. You can't tell me that there's a normal because nobody can even tell you what normal looks like. Hi, my name is Courtney Peebles, and I'm the owner and founder of Solobo Toys. And today on Neuroplay, we're going to be talking with Julie Berry, who is a speech-language pathologist and has a private practice in New Jersey. And we're going to be talking about speech, play, toys, and everything in between. I followed you a while ago. It was a while ago now. It was like way back in the beginning of Solobo. I remember like your username catching me. Like, I was like, oh, talk with toys.
I want to know this.
Yeah, I was like, I like that. But you more recently have like posted more things like about you. It's funny because you just posted that reel the other day about how your husband's work schedule got more demanding. And I totally relate to that because Daniel's schedule was nuts. And like you can't, like things have to change. And so like, okay, so you started in a hospital setting, is that right?
Yes, technically I started in like an adult rehab. Like I was never supposed to touch a toy. I cannot stress to you enough. Yeah. So a rehab, and then a year after I got my license. Yeah. So then I started at the hospital doing pediatrics, but I always would keep my hand in adult too, just to keep the skill set. It sounds so cliche. Fast paced, like your schedule is loaded. And it is a productivity, it's a numbers based, which like I didn't know, like, and this is peds. So this is like doing mostly outpatient. And then I also service the NICU, and I would do inpatient consults too. Like if a child came in and was ill, couldn't swallow, we would go do swallowing and things like that. But the outpatient caseload, the grind, I mean, if my first patient was at 9 a.m., my boss had me come in at 9 a.m. and we'd say like, but I need to be in early to prep and make materials. And they were like, what do you need to like, there was no understanding of peds and that we need like Velcro and we have to like create things. So you're really left no time other than to just do the direct patient care. So it's really hard to get creative and, come up with really awesome things. So I actually became I was like I had to like fit, I was like, okay, I have a pen and a magnet and go. Like I would do not, like it would be, I'd barely have time to clean up from the last kid and the next one was in the door. So, but in hindsight or even, I got really, that's where a lot of my creativity and my flexibility and my, like, you had to take whatever walked in the door, and I really didn't know. So, like, I would joke, like, my interns would be like, what's the eval? I'm like, I don't know. It says Arctic, but she can come in and be half a mermaid. Like, nothing means anything. We'll see, or like, so it was good because I learned to go with the flow, and so it made me good, but it's a difficult setting to grow in because you're just not allotted the time.
So your oldest was born kind of like midway through you being in the hospital, and then your youngest was born towards the end.
Yep. So
how did you navigate that? Because I mean, I imagine
a mental breakdown on my Instagram. But really, like, I was getting home late. My husband used to say, like, I would come home at 7 o'clock at night. My kids it would be like, he'd be in the bath, or like I would like have missed bath.
Yeah.
And I would just be like, oh my God, I just gave to other people's kids all day. And now like I'm missing bath, and it like broke my heart. And I would kind of work, like I said, it was like all day. So I would come home and like I wouldn't be able to eat dinner. Like my husband would be like, I left you out chicken. And I'd be like, okay, I'm still like, I think I still have like the coffee shakes from like 10 a.m. Like it was really hard. It would be like rescheduling and like I felt like I used to say like, am I a cardiac surgeon or a speech therapist? Like well, I went to school, right? Like I just had no idea that I was signing up for, and there's no glory in it. It's not like I get to be like, I'm a doctor, and people go, wow, you're a doctor. Like I'm just like, I'm a speech therapist. Or like, oh, you like fix lisps for a living. I'm like, yes, that's what I do all day, every day. And then I went to the preschool. I was in a local school district with, funny enough, I had a CFY at the hospital who then, when I went to the school, she was like the SLP there. So she was like my mentor.
Yeah.
Like I taught her how to be an hospital SLP. And then I went to the preschool and she taught me how to be a preschool SLP. I'm
there
like,
you go.
you gotta be nice to everyone. You never know who's going to end up your supervisor. You see? But I just found myself like loving being with the kids, and like they're just so fun at that age. They're like old enough to get it, but like young enough for like a good old bubble pop and something that just goes boop, or putting something in a slot is like enough, right?
Yeah.
But they're not a baby like just banging on it, is what I mean. They can like appreciate it, you know? And I just found myself, I hated like the minutes and the way that if a kid was absent and the paperwork and the makeup, I'm like, oh my God, I just want to hang out in this classroom all day and rock out. Like I just give me them and I can do my thing and we will get better. I just found myself like, oh my gosh, if I could just go to this kid's house and just really like spend some time, or like if I could just have a relationship with this mom instead of like the, hi, my name is Julie and I'm a you know what I mean? Like a real relationship. I was like, I could really get stuff done. And then this was like the whole, I called it my Frozen 2 year. Like it was all year. Like I just felt like, where it was like, what is it? What's calling me? You know? And I started Talk with Toys because I'm just like, that's it. I'm tired of drowning. I'm tired of being overwhelmed, and I want to hang out with these kids and just get them better. So I'm just going to go do it. I'm going to go.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Well, and so, but why Talk with Toys?
I play. Everything is a toy. Like one of my favorite stories is like in the hospital, they were working on something. So I last minute got kicked out of my office. There was a leak. So they were like, you got to go in, the closet. And I had nothing on me, nothing. I wasn't familiar with the toys. So I was like, okay. I had my phone actually, and I turned off the lights and put on the flashlight, and I did finger puppets.
Oh, yes.
And like, again, it was just like, give me a light switch, give me a phone. Okay, cool. And it wasn't like I picked out my phone and was like, let's put on YouTube.
Yeah.
Anything's a toy. So that was kind of it. And it's catchy.
It is. I mean, it caught me. Like I saw it. I meant to ask you about this. So I love Chuckle and Roar. And when you were posting, that was one of the things where I was like, oh my gosh, she loves Chuckle and Roar. I love Chuckle and Roar. I think this will be good. I'm going to follow her.
I do. I love your toys. I'm telling you, I messaged you about it. They are similar to you. It's simple. Nothing tries too hard.
Yeah.
And the quality is good for the price. Like nobody should be spending a ton of money on toys.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. When we started, the prices that we had them at, I was like, I don't want them to be this high of price. But because we didn't have anything else, we were like, we have to have them higher. Yeah. And, oh my gosh, shipping in itself is insane.
Shipping stresses me out.
It's recently, it was $17 to ship to California. From here, from where, us shipping from our website. If somebody goes to our website and they purchase something and they live in California, it's $17.
Wow. See? And these are things people I wouldn't think about,
Yeah. I mean, I would have thought maybe it'll be $5. Oh, no. Which is why we've really shifted to pushing Amazon, because Amazon's fees and everything for them to just do it is way less.
Yeah.
Then we can make the prices lower. The fact that Chuckle and Roar is so, I can walk into Target and be like, heck yeah, heck yeah, heck yeah, all that. And the fact that it's lower, it's yes, I want to buy it. Like, and I know for so many people, even like myself, buying toys for my own kids, the price is a hang up.
Absolutely.
Solobo is interesting because it's like a year ago, I would not have thought that this is what I would be doing. My son, my youngest son, he has cerebral palsy. So pretty much from the time that he was like 6 months old to now, he was seeing every single doctor you could think of to try to figure out what was going on. And probably 6 months ago from now, he got to see like physical medicine and rehabilitation, and it changed everything. Like he stopped choking. Like he has a lot of muscle spasms. Like he couldn't hear for the first year of his life.
Wow.
Like so many crazy things were happening, but medical bills were stacking up so much that it was so overwhelming that we were like, we have to do something. I had designed the Learn and Drop like back in the pandemic because like, you know, people were home all the time. And I was like, oh, I'm going to just create art and I'm going to do all these things because I'm home. Why not?
I love it. There should be like someone should just collect like all the things like that people did and like
Yes.
what did you do in COVID? That's like a whole book in itself, like, right?
I know.
So many people found passions, left passion. Like, so, okay. So you're like, I'm an artist now.
I know. I was like, it's okay. I'm going to just create everything. But then that quickly like left because I was like, I don't know how to do this. I was like, okay. So it was like an Instagram reel, like talked about like Amazon FBA, like where it's like the Fulfilled by Amazon. And so I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to take this class. I'm just going to take it. I'm going to see what happens. And I did. And I learned everything I needed to learn from that. But I was like, okay, well, if you talk about like making a brand, I was like, I want to sell things that matter. Like, I don't want to just like sell things. Like, I want to sell things that I would actually use myself.
I couldn't talk about something if I like really didn't have some sort, like if I didn't believe in it, you know what I mean?
And so we were like, okay, well, let's just like see what we can figure out. And I like took the class, I interviewed suppliers, I sent them my designs. And I like, it just kind of like had like a ripple effect. Doing all of this is hard. And it's more than I ever would have expected, for sure.
You had me in supplier. I was wowed. You were like, I interviewed suppliers. I'm like, what a grown woman. Are you Beyonce? What is a supplier? Like, you know, like I would have Googled like suppliers. Like I truly would not even know. So honestly, you, as much as it's a lot, and I'm sure you've been through a lot, like, but you are doing it. So wait, what is a Solobo?
Oh, it's Solobo.
Okay. I should say it right. Solobo.
It's okay. My parents, I've told them how to say it like 16 times and they still can't say it. So it's a mixture of my kids' middle names. So my oldest, his middle name is Solomon. And then my youngest, his middle name is Boss, like Boston.
I was like, talk with toys, cause I like. You're like, oh, I have a total story. I love that. Okay, you're in it. You're like a real story, Courtney. Like, there's nothing fluffy about like how you came about, like how your toys came about. Yeah. It could appear.
I know.
Like, oh, Courtney, I hope she'll still talk to me now that she lives in a mansion and drives a Lamborghini because she sold out on Amazon. Like, yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm in my closet. This is a closet.
All right, I'm making a note. If we ever do a podcast, it might have to be like, you know, mom's hiding in the closet. Something like, we'll just do it in our closets as two moms hiding from us.
I've been trying to like figure out the best ways to like communicate, like even my understanding and my relationship with play in general, because so my oldest son, he's autistic.
Okay.
And it kind of was like a ripple effect in our family because my brother, he was diagnosed first. And when he told us about it, we were all like, wait, what? What do you mean? Because it was like, he's the smartest person I've ever met in my entire life. Like, he is a app developer. He has a security clearance that I know nothing about what he does. He is insanely smart. And so when he was like going through all of it, I was like, what do you mean? Like, I don't get it. And just, you know, we had a lot of conversations, and then my oldest Stone, he was like a year old at the time, and he wasn't talking, and we were just kind of like, yeah, you know, he's in his own little world. Didn't think anything of it. And when my brother got diagnosed, I was like, oh, but like, I always say that Stone reminds me of you.
Like, you were like, wait a minute, this sounds like, like familiar with how he's describing himself. You're like, yeah, my son does that. It's like you. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, huh. So I found somebody who is an independent, licensed clinical social worker who has a certification to diagnose.
Oh, okay.
And she like I don't even think she had an office at that point. We met her at a park, and like, it was wonderful and like completely stress-free. And, you know, she just talked us through everything and talked us through like, this is, you know, these are things. She's autistic, like herself. And so it was so helpful. And so like, after that, we were kind of like, oh my gosh, you know, this makes so much sense. And then like 6 months after that, I was like, I'm autistic. Like, these things that Stone is doing, I do them. Like, I am autistic.
Oh, amazing.
So then I went and got an evaluation, and I was, which I expected.
Yeah, you were like, I know. It was fun when my brother and myself, like, by the time you just start to, I also love to go back. I love the fact that just to hear a mom, like, describing, like, the day my son got diagnosed with autism was such a lovely day. We met at the park. Like, if somebody was driving, they'd be like, what did she just say? But it really is like, that's huge that you were like, really, like, you're just like, if that's what it is, like, I just want to know what it is, right? Like, it's the guessing that you were just like, and like, just your unfazedness, and you're just, I love that.
Well, and it's like, I was terrified in the beginning before I even started like researching it, because I didn't know anything about it. Like, the unknowing really freaked me out. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, what does that mean for the future? And I didn't know.
And this is a very common thought process.
Oh yeah, totally.
The person who diagnosed him being a like social worker, it sounded like she did so much counseling and so much talking with you, right?
Yeah.
Like, it does not seem like you had some, like, you're a number clinical vibe, which I think was like huge in this case.
Yeah. And honestly, I wish that it was more like that, because I was just talking to somebody recently, and, you know, people ask me stuff from time to time because I got diagnosed as an adult. I've interacted with a lot of people who all they hear are the bad things. Like, they don't hear, hey, you know what? It's going to be fine. Like, if you approach a child in a lot of the ways that you approach an adult, like with respect and patience, like, imagine what can happen.
Oh, it's so like weird how things, like, I just was listening to a reel this morning, and it was like, you know, if you were sitting there as an adult watching TV, and another adult, whatever your husband, comes in, doesn't say anything to you, and just like turns off the TV and says, put your shoes on, it's time to go. Like,
oh yeah.
Right? You'd be like, wow, rude. Wow, a lot.
Yeah.
Hello. Right? Like, nothing about that would like sit like, right. But yet, like, adults will do that to a child. And then when it's a meltdown or a tantrum, right? It's like, why? Yeah. No, I do think that is like, it sounds like something that's like, so what's the word? Like, saturated. Everyone's like, connection but it really is true. Like, you don't have to work so hard for the rest of it.
A lot of what we have done in the beginning with Solobo has been very much like geared towards speech therapists. And it's not really like, oh, our toys are speech therapy toys. It's not really that.
They're simple. There's not music and shebang. Like, that in itself makes it, you know, we don't call anything a speech toy, but I'm almost like, the less it does, the more speechy it is.
Yeah.
And you figured out, You do have all the slots, baby. You had me at the slots.
Yeah, I'm sure you relate to this. I have about a zillion ideas that go through my head in a day. So I was like, I just need to like keep some space for my bazillion ideas.
But even that is a mental game in the business world of like, those are like those little things that are stressful that people, right? Like just like the, like I just remembered someone being like, brand and colors, and I like panicked and I like made a color board on Canva and was like, okay, I have a color scheme. I'm real now, right? Like I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I got a color scheme. I don't even have a logo. I don't have a website. I am the most rogue little business owner the world's ever seen.
Like you go to people's houses, so it's like, why do you need that stuff, you know?
Yeah, and like again, you know, some of the other more like you know, just again, they're just different. Like they're just so good at this, and I'm just like this. But I'm drawn to those people, you know, because I like to like learn. Like if I ever went into business with someone, people think like I'd be looking for like a me. I'm like, no, I'm enough me for like 5 people. I'm drawn to the like almost, you know, like those very organized executive functions. The people that would be like, I'm going to go work on our logo. I'm like, yes, we're going to have a logo today because of you. I love that. I'm going to go do the therapy.
I am very organized, like in business, but then I can't wash my own hair. And I'm like, I need to go get it washed because I can't even.
All goes in one. You're like, I have exhausted all my organizing capabilities. I'm sorry. But
I know.
No, it's a real thing. Like in development, sometimes, you know, parents are like, you know, he started crawling and now I don't hear as many noises, or he's quiet. I'm like, no, because we can only kind of thrive in one area at a time. Like, you know, like they hyper focus on the speech. Maybe they get, you know, they stop moving as much or vice versa. And then it all comes together. I'm like, same with us guys. We can't thrive in everywhere. So you're like organized business with dirty hair, whatever. And are all of yours boys? Are you boy mom or
both boys. Yeah. So my youngest is 2. He just turned 2 in May. And then my oldest is 3. He turned 3 in December. So they're close in age.
Okay.
Yeah, they get up to no good.
I mean, it really is like you said, 2 and 3. All right. Like, do they like to do the same things? Like, or are they like oppositeville? Like, do they copy each other, or is it like, you know, like, I don't know, 2 and 3 that's like an interesting.
Sometimes they'll be like, yeah, we totally want to be around each other. And then sometimes they are around each other and they're like tackling each other because they don't want to be around each other.
It is constant touch with boys and constant. And just this morning, you know, they're like, Mom, he won't stop. I'm like, get away from each other. Like,
just move.
Just move. And like there was like a pillow, like one of the throw pillows fell and created a natural barrier. And I'm like, there we go. Be a throw pillow distance away. I'm headed to do camp pickup. What is next for you? Are your boys home? Are they?
They are home. They are downstairs. I put my AirPods in because my youngest is like attached to me right now, and if I hear him, I will just get anxious. So I'm sure he's screaming down there, but we will find out once I take my AirPods out.
And I was like, wow, like they've been so quiet.
I definitely saw Daniel walk downstairs with the M&Ms, so he might be bribing them to be quiet.
Oliver, oh, they're so cool, Oliver. All right, I'm going. Text me. I will talk to you soon.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, bye, Court.
Julie and I really did cover a lot of topics, but Julie and I have gotten to know each other through Instagram since the start of Solobo, and she has been an amazing asset to our toys, the creativity with our toys, and just how people can use them. So I hope that you enjoyed hearing all that she had to say, and like, subscribe, share, and stay tuned.